The fourth method is the pairwise comparison method. Voters rank all the candidates, and the results are summarized in a preference table. The table is used to make a series of comparisons in which each candidate is compared to each of the other candidates. So, if you've ever heard of a round-robin tournament, this is actually very similar to that. For each pair of candidates, X and Y, use the table to determine how many voters prefer X to Y, and vice versa. If a majority prefer X to Y, then X receives 1 point. If a majority prefer Y to X, then Y receives 1 point. If the candidates tie, then each receives 1/2 of a point. After all comparisons have been made, the candidate receiving the most points is the winner. As you can see, we are using the same preference table that we did in the previous 3 videos. But now we are selecting the winner using the pairwise comparison method. So we have 4 candidates, and every candidate needs to face off against every other candidate. So that's 6 different comparisons that we need to make. So first up is A versus B. So I'm looking at the first 130 people, and I don't care about C or D. I'm just looking at A and B, and which one is higher, meaning which candidate do the 130 people prefer between A and B, and that would be A. The next 120 people prefer B over A. The next 100 people prefer B over A. And the final 150 people prefer B over A. So A has 130, B has 370. So the winner is B. The next matchup is A versus C. So the first 130 people prefer A over C. The next 120 people prefer C over A. The next 100 people prefer A over C. And the final 150 people prefer C over A. So A has 230, C has 270. So the winner of this matchup is C. Next up is A versus D. So 130 people prefer A over D. 120 people prefer D over A. 100 people prefer D over A. And 150 people prefer A over D. So A gets 280 and D gets 220. So the winner of this matchup is A. Next we look at B versus C. So 130 people prefer B over C. 120 people prefer B over C. 100 people prefer B over C. And 150 people prefer C over B. So B gets 350 and C gets 150. So B is the winner of this matchup. The next matchup is B versus D. So the people in the first column and the last column prefer B over D. So that's 280 total. And the people in the middle two columns prefer D over B. And that's 220 total. So B is the winner of this matchup. And for our final matchup, we have C versus D. So the people in the first and last columns prefer C over D. So that's 280. And the people in the middle two columns prefer D over C. And that's 220. So the winner of this matchup is C. So now it's time to tally up all the points. And you get 1 point for every matchup that you win, and half a point for every matchup that you tie. So looking back at all of the matchups, A won 1, so A gets 1 point. B won 3 matchups, so B gets 3 points. C won 2 matchups, so C gets 2 points. And lastly, D didn't win any matchups, so D gets 0 points. So Bob is the winner.